How examining the evidence led Smith onlyists to embrace the Spalding-Rigdon theory. When Helorum and the Knights of Mambrino's helmet set out to refute Book of Mormon authorship theories, they expected some version of the Joseph Smith authorship theory to be the last one standing. Due to it, at a very shallow glance, appearing ad hoc, conspiratorial, and excessively overcomplicated, the group anticipated that the Spalding-Rigdon theory would collapse under its own weight. However, considering that 4-gram word print analysis confirms that Sidney Rigdon is, compared to Joseph Smith, about 3 times more likely the author, and the Book of Mormon likewise contains extremely specific beliefs, grammatical errors, and knowledge consistent with Sidney Rigdon and not with Joseph Smith, it is the Joseph Smith authorship theory, which in the absence of Sidney Rigdon, collapses under its own weight. When Sidney Rigdon's life, library, beliefs, and extensive writings were scrutinized, the greatest problem with the Smith-only theory became that it endowed Sidney Rigdon with a prophetic power the likes of which the world has never seen, which, given Rigdon's track record, does not prove likely. Ascension robes anyone. The veracity of the Solomon Spalding portion of the theory becomes apparent when we remove the components from the Book of Mormon consistent with Sidney Rigdon and are left with fragments consistent with the extant writings of Solomon Spalding, his life experiences, including writings of his fellow Congregationalists, and that which is found in his Dartmouth studies. The theories tested in their study include the Jesuit Cowdery theory, as described by W. W. Phelps, the Ethan Smith Cowdery theory, the Parley Parker Pratt theory, the Emma Smith theory, the Hiram Smith Dartmouth theory, the Joseph Smith Spalding theory, as described by John Hyde Jr., the Joseph Smith only theory, the Joseph Smith Cowdery theory, the Sidney Rigdon only theory, and the Spalding-Rigdon theory. Their study concluded that a version of the Spalding-Rigdon theory, which involved Joseph Smith and Oliver Cowdery, like Mormon himself, compiling and interpolating the original material, the most probable. Another inadvertent discovery by the group was that Sidney Rigdon is at least twice as likely than Joseph Smith to be the author of the Book of Commandments. Yet another very interesting discovery by the group was that Joseph Smith scored so low as to be eliminated as a possible candidate for lectures on faith authorship, and Sidney Rigdon with Oliver Cowdery were found to be, by far, the most probable authors of the books written before the publication of the Book of Mormon. Elias Smith's The History of Antichrist, 46.56, original 4 grams per 1,000 words, was found to be the most similar. This is interesting because both Sidney Rigdon himself and Alexander Campbell attest to Sidney Rigdon being Elias Smith's disciple. The other books found most similar to the Book of Mormon included the following: the New Testament KJV, 51.39, minus Sermon on the Mount, 42.28, the Book of Revelation, 66.34, the First Book of Napoleon, 39.58, the American Revolution, 1796, 35.67, 3 Peter, 35.33, the Old Testament KJV, 34.94, the Bible KJV, 34.72, the Late War, 33.10. Of 3 Peter's 2 possible authors, Sidney Rigdon and Walter Scott, using 4-gram word print analysis, Sidney Rigdon scored exactly 3 times more likely the author. Walter Scott scored low enough as to exclude him from likely authorship. What was very shocking was that Joseph Smith, when compared with 4-gram word print analysis, scored nearly as high as Sidney Rigdon, proving that Joseph Smith copied Rigdon's manner and not vice versa. With the several books compared, unlike other groups who have preformed similar comparisons, Helorum and the Knights of Mambrino's helmet corrected spelling, eliminated hyphens, and restored words inaccurately read by the computer. These corrections prove especially important in Solomon Spalding's manuscript story and Elias Smith's The History of Antichrist. Keep in mind that the average book scored 6.80. We found both Ethan Smith's view of the Hebrews Bible quotes removed 14.82 and Solomon Spalding's manuscript story 14.48 scored between the average books and the extremely close books exactly, if they somehow indirectly influenced the Book of Mormon, where they were expected. It is interesting to note that if we combine 3 Peter plus manuscript story 49.76, we would have a book, of those written before its publication, that is the most similar to the Book of Mormon.